And welcome back to the channel. For those of you that have been around for a long time, you'll notice that this is my Jimny, and I haven't had this in the videos for a long time. I have been so busy working on the Pajero that I haven't really spent so much time on the Jimny. But today that's all about to change. Today I am going to go over a little bit of brake maintenance on the Jimny. I don't get to use her every day anymore since I've got the Pajero and we're working from home. Show you what I've done. Also, if you stick around to the very end, I'm going to show you the brake upgrade that I did on the front. I've got the Suzuki Grand Vitara brakes on the front that need a little bit of modifications to get them to work. If you have not yet, please give us a subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below, let us know what you think about my Jimny. All right, so what I like to do first is get yourself up on jack stands, make sure that safety first, and if you don't know how to do that and jack your car up and get it, maybe you should think again about doing your brakes. But no, on a serious note, get your car up, that's where I like to start, and let's get you settled down here. And the first thing that I like to get going with is just with a wire brush or any other brush, just go at it. You may want to put some goggles on depending on how dirty things are, and just give it a good old dusting. From being 4x4ing, there's a whole lot of crud that gets caught up inside here. My brakes have actually been binding a little bit. When it sits for a while, it gets a sort of drive and they bind a bit and then they sort of snap out of it. So we're going to remove all of this in a moment, clean it all up, lube it all up with a little bit of copper slip, and then we are going to be ready to rock and roll again. I've actually got an outing tomorrow where we are meeting up with Dieter, and I will drop his link down below. And we're going to be doing a feature on this for his channel, so make sure you go and subscribe to his channel and check that out. But for now, just go at this with a wire brush. After that, I'm just going to use a soft bristle brush just to get rid of the dust. Yeah, let's get at it. Alright, so this side actually wasn't so bad. One thing you do want to be careful of is if you're going to be using a bristle brush, just watch out for these rubbers here. You don't want to break those or anything like that, because that's where all the grease and the grime is going to get in. Next up, we're going to take the caliper. As I mentioned, these are not Jimny calipers, so the sizes that I'm using here is a 14 and a 15 on the front. If memory serves me correct, the Jimny's got two 12mm pins that go through here, so you can use that. Just got to check it out. Again, principle's the same. For those of you that are new here, this here is my 2009 Jimny that I've modified. I've got M16 up front, custom bigger airbox, batteries on charge just to give it a bit of juice, custom bull bar or roll bar, whatever you want to call it, up in the front. We've got import fenders, which I've given a lot more clearance. You'll see a little blue line at the back there. That's for the air locker that I'm running at the back. Custom rear bumper. A lift consisting of a full suspension and a spacer kit, giving me about 6-inch lift. Interior, you'll see that I've cut the back. That's probably the biggest modification here. Cut the back. This window at the back here actually pulls out completely to give you almost like an S-tray type feel. Interior, pretty standard. Put an aftermarket radio in there. Otherwise, that's the back. You can see the latches here that open up and this whole thing comes out, which just gives you a lekker vibe in the summer. And please ignore all the space at the back here. We are doing a big move in the next couple of weeks. Excited to share some of that with you guys. Okay, the slide pins don't look too bad. You'll see that there's a little bit of rust down at the bottom here, but overall, they're just a bit grimy, so that'll clean up quite nicely. A little bit of copper slip and we're back to the way it ought to be. Yeah, again, not too bad. A little bit of lube and we'll be good to rock and roll again. All right, one thing to remember with your caliper is that you don't want to just leave it hanging here. I've got fairly long lines here, so I've got quite a bit of room to play. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up at the back, leaning over my tie rod ends at the back, and you can see there's still lots of flex on the cable. Right, looking here, you can see there's a little bit of crud buildup on top of the brakes, on top of the brake pads, but otherwise they don't look too shabby. Going to give them another bit of a clean here. All right, what you do want to check is that you've got all these little clips inside here. These little are the anti-rattle clips for your brake pads. All right, to clean the pins, I just take a little bit of brake cleaner, spray it on there, and it's as simple as that. I mean, you can't get much cleaner than that. What you can do is if it's got a little bit of rust buildup on it, you can take a little bit of very fine sandpaper, almost like water paper or whatever they call it, just slightly go over here just to get rid of the surface rust. But otherwise this looks pretty good. Happy with that. Do the same with this one. Alright, so this pin has actually got a little bit of corrosion on it, so I've just gone and got a little bit of water paper and I'm just gently going to go over it to clean up that rust. Right, super happy with that. A little bit of brake cleaner again, just to clean it all off. Wipe it down. She's ready to rock and roll again. Alright, so when you're looking at your brakes and you want to inspect them, you obviously want to check your disc front. So many people forget to check the back of the disc to see if there's any grooves or anything in there. These ones, although they look a little bit rusted up and maybe you can't really see them so well on the camera, maybe if I turn it a bit you'll be able to see. A little bit of rust, that's a surface rust because, as I say, Jimny's been sitting for a while. So you want to check the front, you want to check the back, make sure that there's no big scores in them or anything like that. Brake pads you just want to check, make sure that they're okay. And then it's important that when you reassemble, you make sure that you put a little bit of copper slip both on the corners here as well as on the back. It just helps to make the pad move in and out, because when you're clamping with your brake, your piston in your brake caliper is pushing tight like that, and you just want to make sure that when it pushes tight with the brake pad doesn't get stuck inside the brake caliper carrier and then not release so that you bind up your brakes. So a little bit of copper slip on the back of your brake pad. Right, you don't want to get any on your mating surface that goes against the disc. A little bit on the back here, rub it around just so that provides your lubricant. Stick a little bit over here on the tabs of your brake pad. Again, making sure you get none on the surface. And then it's ready to go back in. Simple as that. Now for the front. Same thing, just know where your caliper pushes up against. You want to put a little bit on there, a little bit on the tabs. Give it a bit of a rub in. And generally on a 4x4, this does tend to get washed away by going through water crossings, high pressure cleaner, whatever the case is. So this is general maintenance that I like to do on my brakes every couple of months, just depending on how much I've used the Jimny, depending on where I've gone with her, just to make sure that the brakes are in good standing and that we don't get binding issues. Next up, caliper. You don't have to worry about putting anything on the back there because you've already got that on your brake disc. But again, just be careful. You don't want to damage this rubber around here, but you can give it a bit of a clean, and your brake caliper just slips on as simple as that. All right, next up, as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that your slide pins are clean. Put some copper grease, copper slip anti-seize on there, just so that it can slide in and out, because this is what your actual caliper uses to slide in and out when you brake. Put a little bit on the threads just to prevent those from seizing up. And then you can go to put that back in. Nice and easy. Don't want to make it too tight, you're still going to get the other side in. Next side, same story. Don't have to be overly tight, but enough that they can't come off. And that's it, as simple as that. So for those of you that were wondering, this disc is a lot bigger than the Jimny disc, and if you give me 5 seconds, I'm going to be back. I'm going to get a Jimny disc to show you the size difference. Standard Jimny disc, put it on just for size reference, and you can see that it's probably about 10 mils bigger around the entire circumference. I think, if memory serves me correct, this is like a 283 and this is a 320 or something in total. So it's a nice big upgrade. What I need to do to get it to fit, so this brake disc comes with a center bore over here of 107 millimeters, whereas the Jimny by standard is 108.3 millimeters. So I just stuck it on the lathe, opened that up a little bit, so now that fits. Calipers were a bit of a different story. So let's just open that up. This is the bracket at the back here. This is designed for an IFS Grand Vitara. So I had to shave that away a little bit with the angle grinder, get it to sit in. As you can see, everything bolts in. Brake lines, they went in perfectly good, and massive improvement in stopping. I've got this combined with discs at the rear. I've done a rear disc conversion. If you let me know in the comments below if you want me to take you through that, I can do a walkthrough and just show you what I did to get that working. So drop a comment down below if you want to see that. And it's been a massive improvement. I've really enjoyed having these bigger discs on. They are vented as well compared to the Jimny. So vented meaning they've almost got two discs with a little piece in the middle, so the air can escape through. They can vent there, compared to a standard Jimny one, which is a single disc or solid disc. And the benefits of having a vented disc is, one, from a heat dissipation point of view, but two, also from a warping, so that if you go through water, mud, also just braking, the disc is able to handle the heat better because it dissipates through here and blows out the back. So that's it. Onto the other side. All right, so off camera, I finished the passenger side and back onto the driver's side now. One of the things I like to do while I'm busy with this as well is just clean up the threads for the wheel nuts, just because it's off. Again, wire brush, just make sure to get all the crud off, make sure that there's no buildup in there. I have got wheel spacers on, so these are a little bit different to normal OEM studs, but that's okay. Give it a bit of a spray just to get the dust off. Wipe it down. Again, a little bit of copper slip on the threads, and some could argue that on a more road going vehicle this is not necessary, but seeing that I take my Jimny into all the places that a lot of people don't, muddy conditions, dusty conditions, dirty conditions, this is just good practice. I'm going to get the wheels buttoned up quickly and then I'll be right back. Wheels all buttoned up, and this is terribly dark. Wheels are on. Last one thing you want to do just before you go driving is just pump your brakes 2 or 3 times, just to make sure that everything is seated, ready to rock and roll, and that's it. Plain and simple and easy enough to do maintenance on your own brakes at home, just to give them a clean after a day out 4x4 in, or whatever the case may be. If you like this, thank you for getting this far. Make sure that you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what else you want to know about this Jimny. Unfortunately, she is leaving my stable very soon, so there will be a couple more videos on her before we move on to the next big thing. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting day going out with Dieter. Really looking forward to that. Make sure that you check out his link in the description below. And until next time, we'll see you then.